Right, hello everyone. I have had a few different pieces arrive in the post during the week for different projects, different scales. So I thought I'd wait until today. It's Saturday, it's the weekend, to do a little unboxing and show them. So, first of all, we have this little package from Eureka Miniatures in the UK, which I think I'm right in saying is a new supplier. Let's just have a look. If I can actually figure out how to open this. Here we go. Yeah, so Eureka Miniatures UK, as opposed to Eureka Miniatures in Australia, I think are almost brand new. I think they've only been up and running for the last month or two. And crucially, amongst a few other lines that they stock, they are now the UK distributor for AB Miniatures. So this is a bit of a test order for me. I wanted to have a look at AB Miniatures 20mm Second World War range with an eye to Second World War wargaming. Now, I've tried some of AB Miniatures 18mm Napoleonics back in the day, and they are absolutely gorgeous. But this is my first time having a look at their Second World War figures. So really excited to actually see these guys in the flesh, or in the lead, as the case may be. So let's look at what we've got. So I ordered 2 packs. One, a British Rifle section advancing, which I think is this one here. Okay. These look really, really nice, even from a first quick glance, without even taking them out of the bag. So 2 packs, one British Rifle section, 1944-45, late war, advancing, on patrol. And this second pack, which I think, I'm actually trying to remember what I ordered. Yes, it's a German machine gun team on the move. So let's pop the bags open, have a quick look. I like the branded bags. That is quite a nice touch. Let's see what we've got. These are really nice from a first look. Really, really nice indeed. AB Miniatures, their 20mm Second World War range, sculpted by Tony Barton, has become kind of a byword for quality in this scale. And from a quick initial glance, I can really see why. These figures are absolutely lovely. Well sculpted, well proportioned, lots of attention to detail. I can see this guy here with his shovel. Really, really nice. The plan with these guys is to get a couple of them painted up, see what they look like, see what I think about not so much this brand or this manufacturer, but this scale. Second World War is a huge interest of mine, both in general military history terms and in hobby terms, as a subject of military modelling and so on. It's something I very much want to get into wargaming, but at the moment I'm a little bit torn in terms of what scale and what rule set to go with. So that's why I wanted to have a look at these figures close up, see what works, see what I think about this scale. And I have to say, it's looking really interesting so far. It's the last figure here, a crouching Bren gunner. These guys are really, really nice. Let's have a look at their opposite numbers. This is in the same neatly branded bag. This is a German machine gun team on the move. And they are carrying the MG-34 from the looks of it. The late war Germans, but carrying the MG-34 rather than the MG-42. And there's no reason they wouldn't be, incidentally. As far as I know, the MG-34 was still in pretty widespread service right up until the end of the war, even after the advent of the more modern and the faster firing MG-42. First impressions, equally just like their British counterparts, these are really, really nice figures. Here's an assistant gunner carrying the tripod, heavy load on his back. Yeah, these guys are really, really nice. Another member of the gun team, slung rifle, carrying an ammunition box. All of these figures, as you can see, they're wearing the late war footwear. If the camera will zoom in on that, rather than the tall jack boots, the traditional jack boots that we associate with German troops in the Second World War, they're wearing the shorter leather ankle boots with canvas gaiters. So these are absolutely perfect for that late war period from Normandy onwards in Northwest Europe. This pose is particularly nice with the rifle slung under the arm like that. That's something that instantly rings a bell from period photographs and footage of German troops on the move. These really, really are nice. One more assistant, lugging ammunition. And finally, another gunner. This time, interestingly, with an MG42 rather than an MG34. That's quite a nice little touch, actually, that both types of machine gun have been worked into the same machine gun section or machine gun squad. It's a nice little touch of realism. These are really nice. Okay, that's part one. Let's have a look at what else has arrived. Slightly bigger scale for a different project again. But this package here, I probably can't even fit it all in frame. But this has also arrived during the week from Hysterex or Historics agents, who a lot of people will be familiar with. They're based in the UK as being a major supplier of scale military modelling manufacturers, kits, equipment, paint, accessories, you name it. Really, really nice company to deal with. And I have to say, very, very quick a turnaround. I think I ordered these items on Sunday and they were with me in Dublin on Thursday. So no complaints there. You can't do better than that. So let's see what we've got. We've got the invoice. And one we've got more invoice material here. Okay, that's it. So two separate items, which I think, if I'm right, I actually placed two orders because my initial order wasn't completely right. So about an hour or so later, I had to go back and place a follow-up order. But what I think I've done, to be fair to Hysterex, they have combined the two orders into one, which is always great. Unfortunately, as I look at it, this is actually the wrong item. That's interesting. It's my very first unboxing on video, and I've been sent the wrong item. What this should be would be the Andrea Flesh paint set, their acrylic paint set, which I had ordered in advance of painting up a couple of figures. As you can see, obviously, it's their brown paint set, which, while I'm sure is very nice, and no doubt I might be adding to the arsenal someday, isn't what I'm looking for on this occasion. So that's interesting. I'm going to have to put that to one side. That's not going to get opened because that is going to have to go back. Let's see what else we got. The other couple of items I was buying were Hornet 135th headsets. A lot of scale modelers will be familiar with these. They're made by a man called Roger Saunders, and they have become, I think it's fair to say, almost the default for figureheads, conversions and so on for 135th plastic, hard plastic military figures. I got a couple of different headsets with two different projects in mind, based on two different 135th figure kits that I've picked up over the last couple of months, both Second World War, and both actually focused on the Normandy campaign. So as I said, I had ordered two headsets initially, one American, one British. I realized within an hour or so of sending the order in that the British headset wasn't completely right. It wasn't exactly what I was looking for. So I'll come back to that in a moment. But these guys here, just from a quick look, these are the American headsets wearing that iconic M1 helmet sported by American troops during the Second World War, and indeed right up until the 1980s or so in various configurations. I had got these to update a dragon figure set, which is depicting American paratroopers in Normandy on D-Day in June 1944. So I'm going to try using these heads to convert those hard plastic figures, to convert those dragon figures, give them a little bit extra, a little bit of character and so on. The reason that people go for these, and I've never used them before, I've never tried them, so I'm really curious to see how I get on with them, but it's just to add that little bit of character and that little bit of detail. Hard plastic figures are great, they're cheap, they're available in a huge variety of different countries and scenarios and poses and all the rest of it, but the faces can sometimes look a little bit flat, a little bit less detailed. So the reason behind these resin headsets, these aftermarket conversions, is just to add that little bit of character. And you can see, even without taking these guys out of the plastic packaging, you can see this figure here, slightly weary, fed up looking expression on this GI's face. These look really nice, and I'm looking forward to experimenting with them. Now, onto the British. What I had initially ordered, for exactly the same reason, for this time for the Tamiya, one of their British infantry sets, I had ordered this set of British heads. And as you can see, they're wearing that classic characteristic British soup bowl helmet, that tin hat. In this case, the Mark II, which was more or less the default British helmet in most theatres, most scenarios during the Second World War. So I had ordered these, done up as they are in helmet netting, scrim and so on, to convert these figures. I had a brainwave about an hour after doing that though, and I realised that the exact scenario, the exact unit I'm looking to depict, which is the 2nd Battalion of the Royal Ulster Rifles in the days immediately after D-Day. 2nd Battalion of the Royal Ulster Rifles were part of the 3rd Infantry Division. They landed on Sword Beach on D-Day. I realised from a very, very quick browse through reference photographs and through books that actually the likelihood is that that particular battalion would be wearing this instead. This is the Mark III helmet. And it's a slight update of that classic Mark II helmet. First introduced in large numbers and first worn in large numbers from D-Day onwards, from 1944 onwards. And specifically on D-Day itself, it was issued to the assault divisions going ashore, the British and Canadian assault divisions that were actually making the landings on the initial day, those being the 50th and 3rd British Infantry Divisions and the 3rd Canadian Division landing at Juno. So because this battalion was part of that infantry division, I reckon, although a little bit more digging is required, I reckon that actually it would be more likely that they would be wearing this style of helmet in Normandy in June 1944. So that's underpinning my choice to get these. They will need a little bit of conversion. One disadvantage is that compared to the other British headsets, I should say, they already have netting, they already have scrim. They look like British troops in contact, whereas these plainer helmets are just the normal steel. So I'm going to have a little bit of work there to add on those extra details in terms of helmet camouflage and so on. But again, just like with the Americans, I am really looking forward to playing around with these, giving them a go. I have never worked on converting hard plastic figures before, so this is going to be an interesting challenge. I'll see how I get on. And without any further ado, I'll wrap things up. Next on my to-do list is to get on to Hysterex about this. I'm sure there won't be any problem about exchanging it and getting the flesh set that I was actually looking for. And maybe when that arrives, I might do a follow-up video to show that. Cheers.